Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, while I was in YouTube jail, I was thinking about this quite a bit. And the question I asked myself is, what is the greatest threat that I face during some time of a major crisis, as we call SHTF? Right? What is my greatest weakness that I have here where I live and what I built and all that kind of stuff? What is the greatest weakness? And some people would probably say, well, it's going to be the zombies. It's going to be those people that are unprepared, that are willing to do anything that they need to in order to feed their families, right? And some people would say, well, you know, I really thought about this a lot. I thought, you know, our greatest weakness is not going to be, you know, people that were unprepared. Our greatest weakness, well, people that were unprepared, more than likely, they are living in a normalcy bias, and they still think that governments are going to take care of them. So I was like, that's probably not our greatest weakness at first, at least, because those people, they're going to be lining up at the FEMA trucks. They're going to think that government can still help them. And more than likely, by the time that they realize that government can't help them and won't help them, they're probably going to be too weak to fight. So I was kind of like considering that. And then I was thinking to myself, well, the greatest threat is going to be people that like to scream loud, people that are never satisfied, people that, you know, those people on, I say on YouTube, you know, I'm sure there's some of them on YouTube, and I'm not really judging, but it is what it is. You know, some of those people that all they ever do is badmouth you no matter what. And I'm not talking about myself in specific, but you see that they have channels, and all they do on channels is they pick someone that day that they want to look at their video and dissect everything that's wrong about it and badmouth that channel, that person, whatever. Those people, I was thinking, would probably be more of a threat than those people that are not prepared, that are just living with normalcy bias glasses on, right? With rose-colored glasses on. Because those people like to yell. They like to scream. They like to argue. They like to find fault in everyone but themselves. So I figured those people would probably be the ones that try to round up the other people that were unprepared so that they can have them do the fighting for them. You see, they would be the ones with the mega horns, right? Yelling out, hey, I know this guy over here has this and that. Let's go get it, right? I was like, man, those are probably the people that are going to be the most dangerous. Not the people that are not prepared, but the guys that are always angry at something, no matter what. Because some people, believe it or not, and I'm sure you'd agree with me, have a disposition. Is that how you say it? Disposition or deposition? I don't know how to say it, but I am who I am, right? Some people have I'll say deposition of anger, that they're always grouchy. They never look at things in light. They're very pessimist, and they just don't like people, and they're always trying to find something wrong in someone else. Those are the people that I think will be very dangerous. But this is what I think is my biggest weakness and would be the biggest danger for myself. Is children. I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, children really get to me. Let me give you an example. Whenever my wife is reading a news article or something like that, whenever she finds one that's interesting, and usually whenever you're reading news, like she'll read the news off of the internet, you know, like even mainstream media, if she finds it interesting or finds it something that, you know, we should know about. And she'll be like, oh my goodness, did you hear what happened? And before she even starts, I say, if it's something bad that happened, and if it's involving children, I don't want to know about it. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to know anything about anything that involves children and bad things happening to them. When I was in Afghanistan, we were out on patrol once. And I'm not sure, for those of you that don't like the United States, go try and check out Afghanistan for a little bit. Go live there for a little bit. And Afghanistan, now this is what I saw, right? I'm not speaking about all of Afghanistan, but I've been in a lot of places in Afghanistan. But in Afghanistan, the women there, they're not treated very well. I mean, they're not treated well at all. Sometimes I would think that when I was there, they weren't even treated as if they were human. All right, from what I saw, okay? That's all I can say is from what I saw. And one day I saw a family. It was a mother. I think it was 2 boys, a little girl, and I think she was probably around 7, 8 years old, something like that. She looked around that age. And there was a father. And the mother was carrying a big thing on her head with like firewood. And the little girl was carrying something on her head also. And the two boys weren't carrying anything. And they were just walking along. The two boys were walking in between the mother and the daughter. And the father was walking behind the daughter. You know, probably about 5 or 6 steps behind the daughter. So the daughter was having trouble keeping up. Right? Obviously, she was young. And in order for her to keep up, in order to encourage her to keep up with the others, the father was throwing rocks at her back. And when I saw that, I screamed at him. And I knew a few very basic words like stop, sit down, get up, go, stuff like that. And I forget what language they call it in Afghanistan. I was going to say Tagalog, but I think that's Philippines. But I knew a few basic words. So I told him stop. And he looked at me. And he got ready to throw another rock at her, kind of like daring me. And I actually pointed my rifle at him. And I said, stop. You know what I'm talking about. Don't do it again. More than likely, he continued to do it after we were gone. But when I see children hurt, it really affects me in a bad way. And that's what I started to think about. That's my biggest weakness, is children. What's your biggest weakness? If your biggest weakness is children like mine, what are you going to do when you see children come up to your door? Because it'll happen. It will happen where just children will come up to your door. It happens in other third world nations where children are on the street by themselves, just trying to survive by themselves at 3, 4, 5 years old with no one else. What are you going to do when they come to your door knocking and asking for food? And you know how kids are. You know, in a third world nation, as soon as you give one child a candy, you have another 40 or 50 surrounding your vehicle or surrounding you asking for candy as well. Or gum or pencils or pens or whatever you have. So that's what I consider my biggest weakness. Is because how can I turn away a child? How can I turn away a family who has children that are starving with nothing? You know, some of the things that I can think about is have some packages available that are for donation purposes. And tell the family to go to this location where they can help them, and there will be food there waiting for them. That's what I plan on doing. I plan on setting up some kind of a location somewhere. Every time that I give something away, I'll have a location set up that's got a cache of supplies, just enough to feed, you know, a child for maybe a week or so. Who knows, a couple pounds of rice, some beans, whatever, right? Maybe a candy, whatever, right? But have a little care package that will feed 2 or 3 children for a week and put it in a location. And when that family comes asking, you can talk to the father or the mother and say, listen, I can't help you, but I do know somebody that said that if any children ever need help, that they can go to this location right here, and there should be a package there with enough food for a week. And once you get that package, please don't ever come back here, because I didn't put that package there, and I barely have enough to feed my family. That's what I plan on doing. Something like that. It's a plan that needs to be perfected in order to keep people from coming back to your location, thinking that you're the one that put it. But I guess I would call that a white lie, in order to protect what you have in your family, and in order to, at the same time, be able to help children that are starving, children that are in need. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is my weakness. It is my weakness, and I can admit that to myself. And a lot of people have a problem with admitting to themselves, what is your weakness? And how are you going to mitigate it? So I would ask you to look at yourself, look at who you are, and ask yourself that same question. Is my weakness security? Right? Because I don't have enough security around the perimeter of my property. Is my weakness children like mine? Or maybe you don't have that weakness. Maybe you don't care. You know, maybe you'll be like, I don't care. I prepped and that's it. If they didn't prep, they had the opportunity to prep. I don't care. That may be your, what you think, right? Which I'm not judging. But I thought that I put this out there. What is your weakness and what are you doing about it? What are you doing about to overcome that weakness when the time comes that you maybe have to employ whatever strategy you came up with to overcome that weakness. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me leave it off with this. I don't think we're going to have a full-blown Mad Max SHTF, right? And that's not what I'm preparing for. I think we're going to become a third world nation. They're trying to make us into a third world where everyone in the world has equal equity. But I think that in the end, what will happen is that we here in the United States of America will become somewhat of what is a third world nation, meaning the standard of living, right? And then it's going to take us a generation or so in order to dig ourselves out of it. And then once again, thrive under the umbrella of what freedom provides, which is opportunity and equality. Equality and opportunity, but not equality and outcome. There's no such thing, all right? So having said that, I hope you got something out of this. I hope it's going to make you think as to how you can better prepare in the future by being to acknowledge to yourself. You don't have to acknowledge it to me or anyone else, but acknowledge to yourself. What is your biggest weakness and what are you willing to do? Having said that, remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. I'm Alaska Prepper. I am out. God bless you all.